Woke up this morning, coffee in hand, flipped on the screen, my favorite man. Crafty's on the TV, chipping that stone with obsidian and flint, he's in the zone. He's shaping the future with a hit and a crack, building the legends, ain't no turning back. With every sharp edge, he's teaching the way of the ancients who thrive back. Woke up this morning, coffee in hand, flipped on the screen, my favorite man. Crafty's on the TV, chipping that stone with obsidian and flint, he's in the zone. He's shaping the future with a hit and a crack, building the legends, ain't no turning back. With every sharp edge, he's teaching the way of the ancients who thrive back in the day. Crafty on the TV, talking that smack, stone carving dreams, never looking back. From Texas to Vermont, Crafty studies us, chisel in the past, building futures for us. Wielding the hammer, he's steady and strong, crafting a world where we all belong. Underneath those layers of dust and grit, finds the magic every little bit. A sculptor of stories, buried in the ground, each piece he uncovers wisdom abound. With every collision, the sparks start to fly as the old world awakens. We question why he's digging deeper where the shadows play.
Okay, I keep losing the audio. Let me check the chat. I wanted to play my whole theme song, but oh well. The reason why I mess it up because I keep accidentally touching the screen. All right, so we're going to begin. I'm going to do slabs today. Today is a slab day. It's a 2-hour live stream, and I interact with the audience. But let me see if the audio is good first. Let me see. I've been having trouble with audio lately. It's been somewhat dull, you know. It doesn't capture the voice or my voice very clearly for some reason. Hold on, I gotta find myself on YouTube's. Hold on, I gotta find myself. All right, yep, I'm here. Okay, so who do we have in the chat? Lazugre. I don't know how to pronounce your name, but hello. Flakesguard, Jace Williams, Robert. Matthias is here. Clint, good afternoon. Charles Rooker, good afternoon. Hello, Patrick. 3 degrees gives me an excuse to boil a pot of tea and watch your antics. Yeah. Uncle Mike Bob, that's a cool name. Jace Williams, yeah. Who else? Tommy Taylor, live long and prosper. Okay, so I'll be napping slabs on Wednesdays from now on. And I've got a choice. I got a big choice of slabs. Mostly heat treats. And I was going to complete something. Hold on. I got my notes here. I got some notes. Let's see. I don't want to show my notes because when I do, I never get to them. You know what I mean? It makes me not want to do the list. All right, so I was going to work on this today. I did this on the last live stream, but I was looking at it and I'm thinking to myself, if I continue, I'm gonna break it. I don't want to do it on live stream, so I'll finish it off camera. Yeah. Anyway, this is a Texas raw chert from Harper, Texas. I also have some of this stuff called Lavic something or other. Let me see what this is. Bill Warner gave this to me. It's Lavic something or other. Yeah, I can't pronounce the other thing. I got this to nap too. So if I get tired of the slabs, I'll nap some of this Lavic stuff on Wednesday. Or I'll just nap some glass, regular glass, bottle bottoms and stuff. So I got plenty to do on Wednesdays. On Mondays, I'm going to be doing rock to point. Which last Monday, I started with a rock. And this is technically a blade, right? So I did the rock to point. If I do something smaller, I can actually complete the whole thing in one video. Yeah, so I'll be doing smaller rock to point videos on Mondays. That way I can finish. And smaller, I mean this size, small arrowheads, rock to point. Yeah, it takes me half the time to do a smaller one than it does, obviously, a bigger one. Yeah. So that's what's coming up. I've got a slab of obsidian that looks like a percussion slab, and I still cannot find my tape measure, which is a bummer because I feel crippled without my tape measure. I have no idea where it went. I've got about 8 tape measures. Just none of them within reach. They're all hidden away somewhere. I was thinking maybe I have a tape measure on the side of this, but I don't. That gets me upset. Anyway, this is like a percussion slab of obsidian. It's almost 3/8 inches thick. Yeah, it's good to start with 3/8 thick, but I've got some that are thinner. See, I got 3 of them that are about 3/8 inches thick. These are good for doing indirect percussion and stuff on them. This one is not that great because it's thinner. It'll break easily. So let's start with the most difficult one first. This looks like petrified palm wood or something similar. I'm going to start with this one. See if it is a heat treat. Some of the stuff that looks heat treated that I got is not. And these are gifts. All these slabs that I'll be napping are gifts because I don't do slabs myself and I don't buy slabs. All the slabs that I have, I got as gifts. Okay? All right. So yeah, it takes me forever to get started. But it takes forever for people to start joining in. So there. We're even. Even Stevens. Hold on, let me adjust the camera. Okay. The heater is not kicking in because the sun is out and warming up the shop. Yeah. So that's good. Ooh, this is a heat treat. It's nice and glossy. Let's see what kind of material this is. It's going to have to get much narrower because I'm not going to be able to run flakes across with percussion all the way across that mess. It's too thin. Can't get the right kind of convexity. Nope. It's too flat. Yeah. No, I could try to break it in 2 pieces. That would be better for me since I like making the small points. But I can't guarantee that it'll snap right where I want it to snap. I could notch it and then hope it'll snap in the right direction. I don't want to make just 1 point out of this. I'd rather make 2 points. I don't know. let's see. Let's just start getting rid of the square edge. See where we are after that. Maybe it won't be too bad. Maybe it'll get narrow enough that I won't feel too bad. It's just difficult to run long flakes on something that thin and that flat. And what happens is it looks all crunchy in the middle. Whereas if I were to do 2 little points, it won't be crunchy in the middle of either one, usually. This edge coloration is kind of cool, but I'm going to lose it on the width reduction. Yep. Just snap it right there. I don't know. There's no way to predict where it's going to snap. Some people want to see how to make one that is this wide and this long out of a skinny or out of a thin slab. They want to see how to do it and not break it. You know what I say about that? Oh well. Oh well. Can't always get what you want. It's too difficult. I'm going to break this. Oh boy. It broke a little bit too good. Dang it. Oh well. Why am I wasting it? I'm not wasting it. I would waste more of it if I were to leave it. At least now I can preserve some of this nice coloration on the edges. And at least you know what happens when you try to break them. Oh, that's got a defect in it. All right, so that solves that problem. It had a defect in there anyway. Yeah, but you could have gotten one if you hadn't broken it. You could have gotten rid of that defect and still had a lot left. Yeah, reality is not supposed to be guided by hindsight. You know, hindsight is worthless. I can still make an arrowhead out of this. I just don't like working slabs that are too thin for percussion. I took a chance. Maybe I'll be able to actually finish a point if I start with a small piece. So you can see how to go from a slab to an actual point. How's that? I took a poll today and I'm asking people what do they want to see. It's a mix of what they want to see, it was predictable that people are going to want to see different things, a mix of different things, but it seems like people want to see specific techniques mainly. Deep dive into specific techniques. So I'll be doing more of those short videos that are deep dives into specific techniques. Well, I'm assuming the short video is a 3-minute format. So I can do deep dives in 3 minutes, yes, but I'll be talking really fast and I'll probably have to do more than one short video on specific techniques. I'll have to go specific technique part 1 and part 2 or in part 3 because it's hard to do stuff in 3 minutes and be correct because it will be wrong on some level if I go too fast. Yep. I'll leave out something. It'll seem like I'm taking something out of context because I can't give you the full context in a 3-minute format. And yada, yada, yada. There's always something wrong with a short video. Always. And when I watch short videos on Flintknapping from other channels, they're wrong too, yes. They don't tell you the whole story, or they don't even show you the whole process. Anyway, I'm going to try to do specific techniques, deep dives in that 3-minute format. and try to focus on the most important aspect of a specific technique. That's not how flint knapping should be taught, but nothing I can do about what people want. People are going to watch what they want to watch. And if I want to not waste my time making videos, I do have to pay attention to what people want to watch. Otherwise, I'm kind of wasting my time if no one watches the videos I make. I have other things I could be doing. Yep. So how do I make a point out of this? Well, at first I take off the square edges. So now it looks more similar to a rock. And real arrowheads are this size in many cases. Not all cases, but many cases, yes. And I'm still not able to preserve that dark coloration on the edges. Yeah. Don't worry, I am going to try to knap this too. This is a big long piece. But on this, I broke it up because it was too thin. And that's what I usually do on all these that are too thin. I'll break them up. But I won't do it in front of the guy that gave them to me. Because it's kind of cringy, like, oh, you broke it? I could have done that. Yeah, I know. But you gave it to me. Now you gotta live with it. You gotta live with what happens. Yeah. Taking your chances. Giving it to me. Yeah. People, they know me after a while. I'll try to do the best I can with what they give me. I finished shoveling today. So, Jim Cooper, if you're watching, I'm able to get to my stashes, and I'll look for the stuff that you gave me. Yeah. Anyways, all right, so I'm using indirect percussion to thin this down. Can I go over the specifics? I've got a lot of other videos where I go over how to do this. And no, I can't go over the specifics if I want to finish this on video. I want to do at least one complete point on a Wednesday, right? I don't know if I've ever done a complete point from start to finish on Wednesday. Or any of my live streams. Have I had enough time to do it? I don't remember. I went over my time last Wednesday. Wednesdays are the easiest for me to go over my time to try to finish the item. So I might just go over my time again. Right? I went over my time last time. Yeah. Because I do want to finish these on video. I lose track of these when I don't. I stick them in a pile and then I forget which one is supposed to be completed and which one isn't on video.
Are you just going to complain the whole time and just be all fussy and stuff?
I'm just letting you know. I'm letting you know what's going on while I nap this. I'm interacting with the audience, hopefully. Just trying to be real.
Yeah, I'm more interested in learning how to do it because I can't do it. I can't do what you're doing. I need to know. I need to know how to do it.
It's the same thing over and over. Just look to see what I do. I'm just doing the same thing over and over and over again until I get good at it. And I'm trying to get used to this material as well. Even though I know how to do this, I don't necessarily know how to do it on this material. This material is very inconsistent. Some parts are nice, some parts are not nice. So if I start getting into it, I'm going to have to explain why it's not nice and why it is nice in some areas. Because you'll say,
Wait, you said it was not good here, but it is good there. What's the difference? I don't see no difference. You're still flaking it the same way.
Yeah, I know. It looks like it's all the same, but it isn't. You would make adjustments so that it looks the same where it isn't the same. Yeah. And I can't explain exactly why it's different or how it's different. It just naps differently in different areas. Yeah. Why is it difficult to explain why it's different? Because I'm not exactly sure if it's me or the rock, believe it or not. I have a pretty good idea, but I don't know for sure. And some people, they will mess up themselves because they're hyper fixated on exactness.
Gotta do it exactly the way you said, with exactly the same technique, with exactly the same attitude, with exactly everything, or I get all messed up and I die.
Yeah, I know. I know how that goes. You have to be, there's a lot of guys that watch YouTube that have to be exact. And if they're not, they get totally messed up. But flint knapping is not an exact science. It's not even a science. It's a probabilistic skill. It's probabilistic. It's like rolling dice. Yeah, you can get sort of predictable at rolling dice in a certain way. If you roll dice enough times, you kind of get the feel of, okay, if there's a 6 showing on the dice, let's say it's a 6-sided dice. There's a 6 showing there and a 2 showing there. If I roll it like this, I can probably get a 4 and a 5. If you can get used to rolling it a certain way by seeing what's facing up first, you can get kind of better at rolling dice. It's the same with flint knapping, but it's a probabilistic skill. It's not guaranteed. Okay? It's probabilistic. You can take precautions. You can get better. You can get more experience and then have more success. Like, how many times do I actually finish a piece? Out of 10 times? I would say I can actually finish a piece 8 out of 10 times. If I lay out all my materials, I can say, yep, I'll finish 8 of those slabs, let's say, as a default. Okay, 8 out of 10. Now, if I discover that these slabs are kind of inconsistent, it goes down to like 7 out of 10. And if they've got voids in them as well as inconsistencies, if it's got weird cracks and stuff, it goes down to 6 out of 10. And so forth and so on and so forth and so on. It doesn't stay the same. My track record is different according to what I'm working on. Yeah. All right. People want to know just a general statistic, and then they'll try to apply it to their exactness. If I give you a general idea and you try to be exact with it, it's not going to work.
Yeah, but you said 6 out of 10 times. I'm like 1 out of 50. What's up, dude?
It's because you're new. That's what it is.
Yeah, but you said you were talking about 6 out of 10 times. I should be able to do that.
You're brand new.
No, I've been napping for like 4 months. I'm not brand new.
Okay. You are brand new if you've been napping for 4 months. Sometimes people are still brand new after 4 years. Yeah. Sometimes it takes forever to get the hang of it, to make what you want to make.
Yeah, I want to make Folsoms and Clovises. Yeah, and Cumberlands. Yeah.
Do yourself a favor and look at the guys that have jigs that are making those. That'll save you a bunch of time. Because it takes years to develop the skill to be able to flute those things without a jig.
Yeah, but I got a buddy that was napping for 3 weeks and he can already do Clovis. Yeah. 3 weeks, man. I've been doing it for 4 months and I still can't.
Yeah. There's always little exceptions everywhere. That's why I tell you, I'm giving you general advice. I'm speaking in generalities, and you try to be exact. It doesn't work. Alrighty? All right.
Well, you could have told me that before without being so condescending. You're such a little, you know what?
I'm trying not to be condescending, okay? I am guilty as charged, but I can't help it. Yeah. I know. I watch my own videos. I try to be objective and stand back and see what I'm doing and kind of put myself in the place of the audience. So what am I doing here? I'm trying to shape it and get it less wonky. I just picked something at random. I was using this to notch the other day. It's kind of a notching tool, but it's okay. I probably should be using this one, right? Instead of just picking one up at random. What am I going to make out of it? I don't know. It looks like a Toya. It looks like it's going to end up as a Toya. What's a Toya? You'll see. Why a Toya? Because they were made of gravel many times. They're from Texas, right? I'll show you. Let's see. Let's look in books. Yeah, let's look in the book.
Don't hum, dude. It makes me nervous.
Okay.
My therapist used to hum and make me nervous.
Okay, I won't hum. Let's see. There it is. These are Toyas. Okay. See, they're right along the border. There's the Rio Grande there, and there's lots of gravels. And a lot of times these were made from gravels, which were unusual colors and stuff. And many were translucent. But you see how there's not much symmetry? Some of these are finely made with lots of nice serrations and stuff, and some are not. Some got little tips, and some of them not so much. They do all have sharp tips, but you know what I mean? They got these needle tips on some of them. But some of them are just straight tips. Yeah, like that. That almost looks like a desert Sierra. And not a Toya. For me, a Toya's got three distinct notches like that. 1, 2, 3. Most of them, that's what I consider a Toya. Other stuff looks like the desert type. Desert Sierra or Desert Delta. Something like that. Anyways, I'm going to make one of those. And hopefully it won't take me too long because they're not that neat and tidy. They can be all cruddy and crude. Let me see here. So I'm going to try to thin this down. Can you see? Should I get closer to the screen and make it extremely difficult for myself? Yes? Yes. This is a heat treat. And I thought it was going to be petrified palm wood, but I have no idea what this is. It's all weird. Look at that. Is it palm wood? I don't think so. But it might be some kind of petrified wood. Were Toyas made from this exact stuff? Exactly? Probably not.
Why are you doing it if it's not exactly the material you're supposed to use for those types? You're getting me all confused.
It's not an exact science, dude. I'm picking something that I can make that won't take too long. So I got other stuff to get to. I got to get to that other stuff down here, right? I got Alabama Coastal Plains heat treats, and I got this slab of obsidian. This is supposed to be nice, like a rainbow type, but we don't know. And then I got a slab of alabates. Very rare stuff these days. And I could also nap this into an arrowhead. I'm not going to be able to do all those today, but, maybe I can at least sample them and see what's inside those slabs. case you just joined us, this is Slab Wednesday now. I'll be doing mostly slabs. And I'll introduce some bottle bottoms every now and then, that kind of thing. Maybe pieces of glass. Maybe some glass tile if I can get a hold of it. I need to do some glass insulators, so maybe I'll introduce that into this Wednesday stuff. But I'll be using modern tools, except for Fridays. I use natural tools on Fridays for you guys that are new. Fridays? Yeah, I have a live stream on Friday night from 8 to 10 p.m. Eastern. Eastern. And if you don't know what that means your time, you can just ask Google. Google, what time is it my time when it's 8 p.m. Eastern? And it'll tell you, hopefully. And then you'll be able to see someone struggling with natural tools, because it's a struggle compared to copper. And in case you don't know, copper also was used back in the day for knapping. Yes, before European contact. At least in the Great Lakes area. For sure. Exact. With evidence and all that. In the Great Lakes area, it was copper was used for knapping. Yes, without a doubt, objectively speaking, it's not even an argument. Now, in other areas of the country that you can argue that copper wasn't used because it was far away, the Great Lakes area, you could find copper on the surface. So not everyone had access to it. The trade networks weren't that great, but if you're the kind of person that says, yeah, they traded like obsidian for thousands of miles, and they traded moose antler for thousands of miles. They traded seashells over thousands of miles. They traded different furs over thousands of miles. But copper? No. Not even a little bit. Really? Yeah, never. Copper, never. Everything else, yes, thousands of miles. But copper, never. And there are people like that. I don't know why. But you know, what can you do? All right, so here you go. Yeah, well, copper not for knapping. See, knapping is a weird thing because people think it's the exception. Yeah, it's like mentality starts to warp once you start talking about flintknapping. Everything else is fine. But when you start talking about flintknapping, it all changes. What I said before about other stuff being traded, it doesn't apply to flintknapping ever. No. I'm going to say that, but you know what I mean. It seems like it doesn't apply. And just between you and me, okay? Don't tell anyone that I was making fun of those people, because they'll come into the comment section and they'll start getting all upset. Yeah, start vomiting all over the comment section. I don't really like cleaning up vomit. No. I mean, some people might. I'll let them do it because I like to see who the dum-dums are. I do like to see that. Keep track of who's the dum-dums. But otherwise, just don't tell anyone, okay? Just between you and me that I made fun of them. So how did I get to this stage? I made the edges all nice and neat so I can start to do the process of thinning. And I'm going into these different phases and different mindsets without telling you. Yep. Because you should know already. There's only 98 people. That means most of you guys probably seen me nap before. Okay? I'm wondering if it stays in focus. That's the only thing that I'm worried about. This is not being in focus. Because it's just a small piece. And yeah, you can use indirect percussion on small pieces and big pieces. It's very versatile. Look at the difference between these two. See that? You can use indirect percussion to produce these big old flakes and these little bitty flakes. And it's the same exact process. The angles are the same. The thing that's different, I need to move this. The thing that's different is the amount of force. Much more force required to knap this than this. Not only because this is raw and this is heat treat, it's because of the size. It's just scaled. Different scales, but it's the same angles, same grinding, proportionately. You know, you're going to have more surface ground down on something big than the surface ground down on something small. It's going to be like knapping the tip of this bigger one. It's like spending the whole time knapping just the tip. That's what that's like. Same old. Same everything. Just have to adapt it to the material. And what am I doing with this big chunk? I haven't broken it down because also I cannot find my big hammer. I can't find my tape measure or my big hammer. Yeah. So just leave me alone. Yeah. Don't want to hear it.
Not hearing anything, dude. The chat is not like vocal or anything. It's so quiet.
Yes, I know. I know. I was looking around the other day on the internet. See what's going on. Sometimes I check the Flintknapping community as far as what's going on. What are they looking at? But I was checking other stuff to see if I could maybe get some inspiration for new videos. But that's gotten me into trouble before, so I stopped. But I did end up subscribing to other channels of related topics. I subscribed to this one guy that does carving. He does live streams of carving. And I said, man, if I had just gotten into carving, it would have been so much easier. So much easier. I could have got my Dremel. I could have been talking smack using my Dremel tool and getting thousands of views. Man, it would have been so much easier. And I wouldn't get these people that are all got these weird concepts because it's Flintknapping. Just because it's Flintknapping. To get all weirded out. Why do I have to deal with it? All this stuff. Why? So I just said, I need to stop looking around because then I get jealous. Yeah. And yeah, I get fussy. Woe is me. Really, dude? Are you depressed? You mad, bro? Yeah, sometimes I get mad. That's not too bad. I like making the small points, and I'm getting more into making the small points. Yeah. But I asked some questions today in the community section of my channel on what do you want to see? What kind of videos? I'm going to try to make more short videos. I figured out now how to edit and save and copy my live streams, and now I can edit out portions of the live streams to make little short videos. Because before, my video editor did not handle the format of my downloads. I can download one of my live streams onto my computer and then edit it, but my editor didn't work on those. It's in the format that my editor goes, format not supported. Great. I bought this really fancy computer. Of course, I didn't put many apps on it. But anyway, I bought this fancy computer for drafting. I can do drafting on it. And it won't handle stupid video editing unless I get a certain app. and I got the certain app, and now I can do it. Okay, so everything's cool. Everything's good. I'm going to start editing my videos and putting up short clips of my live streams and other long format videos. Because sometimes it's hard to generate a particular scenario on purpose. Man, I installed a curve into this. I did. Oh, you know what? I got a challenge. Keith, if you're there, I haven't seen you in the chat. Maybe I missed you, but he gave me a challenge. Let's look at the challenges. He says, I dare you. I dare you to do that. Where is it? All right, there's Keith's email. Says, okay, I'll challenge you to choose one of these points to make during today's challenge. These are pictures from the Overstreet 16th edition. He told me about. I don't know if he speaks that way, but, you know. Anyways, here they are. I won't read the whole thing. He says, make one of these, dude. No, make one of these. I dare you. No, wait. There, I dare you to make that. No, that one. But that's the one I really want you to make because these are thin. Yeah. Right? He did not say that. But these are thin, these ones. So that's probably what he wants me to make. Left the best one for last. So yeah, maybe I'll make one of these on video today. I could try it with this piece, the elevates. What's the name of that? I forget. These are from Texas. Yeah. So yeah, I can make one of these out of this if I don't complain too much and fuss and act like a weirdo. I can probably do it. Okay, Keith? Okay, but let me make a Toya out of this first. And it's going to be, I don't know what I'm going to do. It's all curved. I'm going to have to take some off the base, I guess, to uncurvatize it. Take some mass off of this side. Actually, this side's pretty flat, so it's not really curved, luckily. But if I remove some more off of this, I can kind of straighten it out. And if I remove some of this mass up here, yeah, well, that's what I'm going to do. As long as it doesn't break. It's got little defects in it. But you can see, I think it is a petrified wood of some sort. I don't know. Some of you guys know what this is. I don't know. I don't care. I really don't care. I only care because you do. People say, you know, you're not a very informative or knowledgeable person as a napper. Holy moly, I've seen like 40,000 better guys than you on YouTube. Yeah, because I watch 40,000 videos a day. And you're just on the low end of the tier. You're like number 4th off the bottom. Good. Yeah, you don't have to watch me. And I don't have to deal with no vomit in the comment section. Yeah. I used to work at a nightclub and as a janitor and a DJ. And I got to see what was left over after the nightclub closed down. In the restrooms and on the floor. And guess whose job was to clean that all up? I've seen it all, dude. Yep. But I don't like it. Yeah. All right, so we're going to get to the point where it's going to break. It's almost going to break because I'm starting to thin it down. I left that little lumpy spot there just in case. But now I'm going to remove that strong lumpy spot. And yeah, I left it there on purpose. Believe it or not. It's a really delicate material, so it's good to leave a little bit of it thick somewhere, especially in the middle. And yeah, I'm thinning it with pressure. I don't normally do that, but in this case, It's a heat treat. Excuse me. It's a heat treat, and it's small, so I can do this with pressure. You'll notice I'm not directly over the gap. I'm over to the side slightly because I have a tendency to snap it in half on the gap, on the trench or whatever it's called. The groove. Man, it's gotten cold all of a sudden. Let me turn the heater on. Yeah, I went down. The heat, for some reason, or the shop is no longer warm. The temperature, it must have got windy outside or something. Dang it. Or maybe this is giving me so much anxiety that I'm freezing my butt off. All suddenly.
Wait a second. I thought this was the sweat stage. Now you're changing it to freezing your butt off? Dude, bruh.
Yeah, I know. People that Flintknap are kind of weird. Yeah, they're kind of weird that way. Yeah. All right, so these edges don't need to be perfect on the Toya, which is, I like it so much. I don't have to be perfect. And some of these Toya points, the point of the Toya point sometimes has a little twist. I don't know if I'll do the twist on it. And yeah, I'm holding the flaker in a weird way, like a pencil. Whatever works, dude. I had this one guy that on several videos, he kept telling me I was doing it wrong. So I muted him after laughing at him. I don't know if he was being serious or what, or just joking around. You guys, sometimes I don't get it. Maybe you guys are joking around and I'm thinking that you're just a weirdo. I don't know. That was nice. So I took off some mass off of this side. I'm glad that that little flake didn't break the tip off, because I have a bad habit of breaking the tips off. So when am I going to do the notching and stuff? Just hold on a second. I'm looking to see if this matches any of the Toyas in the book. As far as the outline goes, it looks like they're more narrow than this. But I don't want to make this more narrow because I want to preserve the width. Show you guys how to preserve width. Because I'm so awesome at it. Yeah.
Dude, you're only awesome at acting stupid. That's what you're awesome at. I know, because I've watched all of it.
There's other guys that don't act stupid on video. There's other guys. Why are you watching this one? Why are you watching this channel?
To hate watch. I'm hate watching. I love to hate watch.
Okay. Actually, one of my sons does that. He'll hate watch something and say, yeah, I hate watching it, but there's something about it that is so weird that it's good. Okay, buddy. Whatever you say. I'm not of that generation, so I really can't identify with it. If I hate something, I won't watch it. I mean, not even if it's exceptionally emotionally arousing. Like if it generates a lot of hate, I'm not going to watch it just to get that rush. Kidding me? But I guess it's different these days. So let's put some notches in here. Yes? Or do some serrations first? What should we do first, notchings or serrations? I don't know. I'm just going to make the edge all jaggedy. And then call them something else. Neither notches nor serrations. Notchurations? Yeah, call them notchurations. Yeah, and even if it doesn't look like the Toya's in the book, I'm just going to call it a Toya anyway. Making these barbs a little bit more pointy first. It's risky to do these at the end because the notches go pretty deep. So if you mess around with the barbs toward the end, it can snap right across where the notches are starting to come together. Okay, you'll see. Where's my notcher? My good one. There it is. At least I didn't lose that one. At least, where's my... Yes, okay, I'll file in one direction. I keep thinking about that one guy. He says he's been doing this for 30 years, and I ended up calling him a Karen. I think I hurt his feelings. So, okay, I'll file in one direction, even though it'll take 100 years for me to ruin it by going in both directions with such a little piece of nail there. I'll still go in one direction, yeah. So, how do I notch this? With lots of pain and suffering? Well, yeah, sometimes. I'm just gonna do that for now and see how it goes. It's very easy to notch one of these heat treats. All right, so it's not finished yet. I'm going to expand that notch, but at least I got that one in there. So let's do one from the side. And I'm going to get these notches really close, so it looks like the barbs can break off by accident. And I think that they did that on purpose to actually cause these things to break. And they were probably used for warfare. That's my interpretation. Because why would you make it so delicate when these notches are so close together? It could break so easily. It's probably because they did it on purpose. To break easily so the arrows cannot be shot back. Yeah. Nothing worse than being shot with an arrow that you shot at someone else. Yeah. I'm just saying, I don't know for sure. But that would be bad. Go back to camping. What happened to you, dude? This guy shot me with my own arrow. You got shot with your own arrow because you made the arrowhead too strong and it made it too pretty so it won't break. Such a loser. Yeah, next time I'm not going to make the arrowhead so pretty. I'm going to make it break easy. Yeah, so I don't get shot in the butt with my own arrow. As I was running away, he shot me. That would be a bummer, yes. That never happens in the day, dude. You don't know anything. It's Flintknapping, so there's an exception. Yeah. I mean, people will do that with other things. Like if you throw a rock or you throw a tomahawk or you throw something else, they'll throw it back at you. But not arrows, not anything that's got a flint knap on it. Nope. It's the exception. Yeah, I know. I know. I'm not going to argue. I'm just going to agree. And then I'll laugh. Don't tell anyone that I will laugh to myself. Yep. So, is it getting there? It's getting there slowly. How much time do I have? It's already been almost an hour. Dang. How time flies when you're making up stories. I need to sharpen that. Where is it? I need to go in one direction. See? Watch. See? And now it's going to take me 50 years to wear this file out. I just go in that one direction. Because I got 50 years to go. Don't you know that? I'm 63. I can go 50 more years. Yeah. And let's just say it doesn't. Let's say I mess it up, right? It cost me $8 to replace it. I spend more than that on when my daughter asked me for gas money. Yeah. No problem at all. Get a new file. You got daughter? You got a daughter, dude? Yeah, I got 4 daughters and 2 sons. I'm an old fogey. Yep. And they're all adults. Yes. And they don't watch my videos. No. Why? They told me, it's weird, Dad. It's weird. I don't watch your videos. You never talk like that when you were at home. You're always in a bad mood. Yeah, I know. I wonder why. Yeah, I mean, how can it possibly be? I mean, kids are so well behaved. Always. Always kids are so well behaved. And they're so nice and they're so understanding and they learn logic really well. Yeah, so they make a lot of sense. I don't know why I was angry all the time. It's a mystery. So the notches are pretty close together. I don't want to get them any closer than that for the video. So that's a Toya point. Yeah. It's not like the ones in the book. There's a lot of variation. So I could put like that kind of serrations on the side. What do you think? Yes? Okay, you convinced me. I got some time. Let's see. So this basically just adding notches into the side. But they're a different style of notch. And with a heat treat, it makes it so nice. You can just make these little pop outs really easily, relatively speaking. Nothing in Flintknapping is easy, but it's relatively easy. Make sure I don't break it. I made a short video on my mindset. It's always, don't break it, don't break it. But I'm right on the edge of breaking it. I'm rolling the dice, so they say. I mean, so to speak, I'm taking risks. I could break the tip off. Yeah. These serrations don't need to be perfect either. That's another thing. I did mention that about Toya points. They're often crude looking, but I think they were made in large numbers, so they didn't spend a lot of time on each one. Because, you know, if you're going to make 60 arrows, 60, for the battle coming up, you don't want to spend too much time on each arrowhead. But you want them to be nasty and sharp and painful. That's what I think these serrations were for, was to increase the level of pain. Because otherwise they resist. You can feel how they drag. If you cut something with serrations like this, like if you use this as a little knife and cut something, you can feel the drag. So it doesn't aid in penetration at all. But once it's in the wound, if it starts moving around, that's going to hurt more than a smooth edge, for sure. And someone that's in a lot of pain doesn't want to fight. No. That's my take, okay? That's just my opinion. I could be wrong, but that's what I think. Yeah. And it's my video. I can tell you what I think. Yeah. And if I don't like what you think and you put it in the comments section, I can delete it. It's wonderful. What am I doing now? I'm making the tip even more pointy because that's how I roll. I take chances. Yeah. No, that's not how I don't normally like to take that many chances on video. I'm doing it because I can do it, and it's not that difficult. It's a heat treat. It's very delicate. It's almost like obsidian. It's so good to knap. It is knapping well. So it's not really that risky. I can pretend that it is and add some drama to the video. But it's not that bad, actually. And yeah, I'm using the notching tool to drive some flakes. Drive some flakes toward the middle. Okay, so that's good enough. Yeah, Toya point. Made of mystery heat treat. How does it look? Hafted? I'm glad you asked. Yep.
Wait, dude, I didn't ask it. Don't do it. Don't do it.
I'm going to do it.
No, I wanted to see a process. I don't want to see the box and four shafts. This is so lame, dude. I want to see only napping.
I got lots of different four shafts, don't I? These are all for arrows. The lateral dart four shafts are these thicker ones. These are for arrows. And yeah. Which one's my favorite? I'm glad you asked. I like this one. Let's see if it fits on my favorite. Huh. Wouldn't you know it? It fits perfect. It's so nice.
What's that notch in the middle for, dude? I know you've told me 1,000 times, but I forget on purpose. Yeah, just tell me again.
I'm not going to tell you what it's for, because you're lame. Yeah.
But, dude, I didn't do nothing. Bruh.
I don't care. I'm not going to tell you. Ready? That's how it would look hafted. Of course, it doesn't have the sinew on it. But yeah. And you can leave some wood sticking up past the wrappings. On arrows, I've seen that a lot. I haven't seen that much on that lateral dart points. They don't leave the wood, or they don't extend the wood up past the wrapping area on at lateral dart points, but they do on the arrow points for some reason in many cases, not all cases. Like there are shallow notches, like Ishii on his arrows had very shallow notches like that. So it would just barely fit. This notch is actually too small. Let me see. How about this one? Probably still too small. Yeah. So on this particular arrowhead, you need a relatively deep notch. Yeah, and you can do it like this too, where the wood does not extend past the notches. And when you wrap it diagonally, you still cover the wood. It still touches the wood, the wrappings. You just don't wrap across this way. You just only do the diagonals. Okay? But like on this deeper one, you can cross over the neck here, go straight across. But on the more shallow notch, you just do the diagonal hafting or a diagonal lashing. It still works. Okay? And if for war, I would rather do that. That way, it has plenty of strength to penetrate, but when you pull it out, if it's just a shallow notch, it pulls out easy and it stays in the wound. That's even worse for the enemy. Right? One more thing about these serrations is that there's an idea out there that maybe they were used to hold poison. I mean, if you put poison on your arrow tip, it'll stay in these little crevices. So that's another thing to think about. Okay, so that was that one. I did finish that. We have one more hour. Let's see what's next. Well, I gotta check the chat first. It's 235 people watching. I need to scare some of them away. I hope I don't, but I probably will, looking at the chat. You guys are behaving in the chat, right? Let's see. Someone says, Seth says it's a beautiful arrowhead. Thank you, thank you. It's a glue void, says Keith. Yeah, Keith gave it away. Why did you do that? It's a secret. It's a secret, Keith. You know that. Really? No. All right. Let me see. Man, I'm far behind. Oh, there's a lag in the video. Okay. Keith says, if you break it back in the caveman days, they use 5-minute pitch. Band-aid pitch? I suppose so. Mike Mason says he likes Toya points. Awesome. JJ, the lines are too accurate. Make it a little rounder. Next time. Lisa Evans, you ever get a piece in your eye? I had a friend who tried making one and got it in his eye. Yeah, I've got a piece of flint in my eye before, but nothing major. As soon as I get something in my eye, I go straight into the house and rinse it out. Yeah, I spray a lot of water into my eye. It gets it out pretty fast. I never rub or try to blink it out. I just go straight to the house and wash it out with water from the sink. You know, I have a little sprayer on my sink and I spray my eye. All right. Richard says, good afternoon. Are you going to the Silver River Knapping? Nope. I'm not going to any Knappings except the Coshocton Knapping and the Brady Knapping. Coshocton, Ohio, and Brady, Texas. And I might go to one at Letchworth in the spring. I'll be traveling this spring. I don't know about the fall coming up. I like to go to Knappings in the fall as well, but I'm not sure I'm going this fall. Definitely in the spring, though, yes. I've got 3 that I might go to. Or no. I've got 1 that I will go to, the Texas one, in the spring. I believe it's April. And I probably will go to the Coshocton, and I probably will go to the Letchworth. That's it. JJ says, you're an old baby boomer? Yeah, I'm a baby boomer. I am. Let's see. How expensive is it to get into this hobby? It can be very expensive. It's not as expensive as other hobbies like RC, radio controlled flying, for example, or metal detecting, or stuff that requires a lot of expensive equipment. You can make your own tools and you can find your own rocks. It's one of the cheapest hobbies to get into. However, if you are not near free sources, or if you're not good at scrounging, it can get very expensive. I've known guys that have spent thousands of dollars on their first year of napping. Thousands. But it's that, I mean, that makes it pretty much in line with other hobbies like woodworking that requires thousands of dollars of tools, radio control, flying, for example, at thousands and thousands of dollars on various pieces, various items. I mean, it gets expensive no matter what you do. Let's see here. I'm looking at the chat. I'm trying to figure out if there's any questions in here, and I'll answer questions when they come up to the best of my ability. Okay, so hang around for a little while. I'll start napping again. I still got 1 more hour left. Yeah, and if you're late, don't worry about it. No worries. If you're just joining us, I will start napping here in a minute. Yep, it is. Sometimes it can be quite difficult to do the napping. Come on. No, I want to advance the chat. I don't want to go to the advance the next video. I went all the way to the end. I think that's it, right? There's no more questions? Yeah. All right. Next on the agenda is, wait, let me put this away. Next on the agenda is this one here. I'm going to try to make that, what are they called? It's in the Texas book. Langtry? No. Yes, maybe. Yeah, it's a Langtry. I'm going to make a Langtry out of this. And these are thin, okay? This is not where Alabates is found, though. Alabates is found further up in Texas, like right there where the corner is, right there. In the area is where Alabates is found, I think. But oh well. I'm pretty sure this is heat-treated Alabates, but we're going to figure it out. We're going to sample it and figure it out. Yes, we are. Together, you and I. Yep. You convinced me to make this arrowhead. Keith is in the chat, right? I saw Keith. It's your fault, Keith, that I'm doing this. You're making me make the Langtry. I haven't made one in years because they are thin and they're a pain in the butt. They are a pain to make, yes. So it's the same procedure with everything. You just got to get rid of the square edge first if you're going to do it the way I do it. Now, you don't have to do it this way. Some people are just watching this because they're on their lunch break or whatever, and they need to decompress or unwind. Some people are masochistic and they want someone to make fun of them. Some people can't stand it when I make fun of people. And they tune in and they go, dang, I'm never going to watch that channel again. Holy crap, that's terrible. Unbelievable. Did you believe that guy? Yeah, I can't believe myself sometimes. So yeah, I'm going to just go around and get rid of the square edge. And while I'm doing this, since it's kind of boring, I talk about stuff that pops into my head. Yeah. I don't need to have a filter. No, not anymore. No. I used to work a professional desk job. I used to make good money. Oh, yes. And I said, you know what? Sometimes it's not worth it. I could go back. I could go back to the corporate thing. Yeah. No. Sorry. No. I got a good resume. I can go back. But I don't want to. I'm still not. I mean, I'm technically, yeah, I'm retired. But I can unretire myself at any time. But I'm not going to. No, not a chance. They want me to get a job at the post office. Dude, you need to apply. We got post office job fairs 3 times a year, dude. Oh man. You know what? I'm thinking about it. I wouldn't mind it because I get exercise. Yeah. If you want to promote me up to postmaster, I don't know if I'll like it though. No. Deal with all the customer complaints. I was sitting behind or standing behind a lady one day at the post office. She could not believe that the instructions that were written on her package were for real. So, the way she was acting, she says, "This is not possible for them to be doing this with my package. It's supposed to go here, and it didn't get there, and then they wrote something on it, and it's not supposed to be returned to me because I insisted that they deliver it, and I gave them instructions, and blah, 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 blah." No, but they were unable to deliver it. I don't care. I requested that they deliver it, and that we had a long talk, and I talked to some blah, 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 and she was in line holding us up. And the poor girl behind the counter is going, "I'm sorry, but there's nothing we can do except write up a little spiel on this and submit it." "Yeah, well, I already done that. You guys are not doing anything about it." And I felt sorry for that girl behind the counter. Yeah. I would not be a good postmaster because I would tell that lady to go take a hike. What can you do? I mean, there's only so much you could do if the post office is following policies. I mean, I know that there's mistakes, and they've messed up my packages, and I've complained also. But there's only so much you can complain about before it's useless to keep it going. If you just keep going, you're just making yourself look foolish. Uh-oh, I don't know if I'll be able to make a Langtry out of that. That's where the base is supposed to go. It's all cracked. I could make a small one. Maybe I have enough room for a small one. I'm going to try to get rid of all the cracks down here and then make a small one. Here we go. So I'm just going to pick at this and see if I can remove those cracks. And then whatever I have left, I'll make into something. This is pretty typical of nice material. Unfortunately, I've had the worst luck with the nicest material. Yeah. Yeah, it's funny how that works. It's funny because I had the worst luck with the nicest looking girlfriends I had back in the day. Why is that? I don't know. But with Flintknapping, it seems like the best material has all the worst defects in it. Yeah. What is this? It's none of your business. It's my video. I can do what I want, man. I can scare people away. I can make fun of everybody. Or I could just not talk at all. I've done that before. Okay, so I think I'm getting rid of all those cracks, except I don't have a lot of room. I might still be able to make one. A small one. I'm going to lose a lot of material. Yeah. But yeah, that's the goal. I do have plenty of room. Well, maybe not plenty, but I do have room to make that one there. I'll try to do that and make the barbs as long as possible. So I got to be careful about the width. But I think I've gotten all those cracks out. And I don't mind losing too much off of these corners because it looks like there's another crack here, or maybe that one's healed. That could have been healed. Let's see. What's going on in the chat? Logic Apostate says, I can't stand to nap beating up rocks that cost me money. Only 6 months, but I practice most days. I can't find enough. Yeah, that is a problem. Okay, so I got a crack here. Where did that just showed up? Okay, so I don't mind losing these corners. I'm going to have to lose the corners to make that Langtry point. Let's put this here so that people know what I'm talking about. I'm making one of those. Okay, all right. So I'm going to lose these corners, which is okay because I've got, it looks like a bunch of nasties. I start with the default triangle shape and then from there work my way in to see, and also trying to see where I can prioritize or move the potential arrowhead around in this little biface to capture the best material. I can take more off of this side. Yeah, I'm going to take more off of this side than on that side. Okay, because that's nasty there, and this looks pretty nasty down in here. So I'll move the whole thing over to this side. The potential arrowhead, that one there. If I had a template, I could show you, but with a template, I place it over this and I move it around to see where the best place would be. But I can also do it in my mind without a template. Yeah. It is possible. We have the technology. The human brain is advanced for this kind of stuff. It has been adapted to do this kind of stuff. Yeah. Let's move this. That way you can see. Yeah. Probably should have done it with the other one. Sorry about that. This was the same color as my glove and the background. That must have not been easy to watch. I did have a bunch of people watching at one time, though. I guess they crowded onto the live stream when they saw that I was trying to use different foreshafts. So, what am I going to do here? I'm looking to see what I can remove that's nasty. And even it up a little bit. Yeah. And these Langtry points are thin, so I got to thin this down quite a bit. So I have to think about that soon. This is a heat-treated alabates, which is an agatized dolomite. I don't know how I know that when I don't know much else. I think it's because people have asked me that thousands of times. Back in the day, I used to get a lot more questions on the materials. I think people know me by now that I don't really care about the material as long as it naps or what it's called. But this one I remember because it's a rare type. How's that? Is that good? For all you guys who want to see big flakes? It's a dragon wings. That's a dragon wing flake. That's what they call it. Yeah. Really? Don't tell me you're just joking, dude. Don't tell me you're just joking. Please don't tell me that it's just a joke. No, that's not a dragon wing flake. Dang it. It's not. a dragon wing flake. There's no such thing. I just made it up. Yeah. It's easy to make up stuff in Flintknapping. And sometimes people like it when you make up stuff. Yeah, and they start spreading it around. Because it sounds good. Yeah. I've seen that done before. There's no shame. Some people have no shame. They'll make stuff up and it'll get spread around and they'll just chuckle to themselves. I guess. I don't know what they do. No. I've never known anyone that makes stuff up and then chuckle to themselves. I had no idea. I'm slowly reducing this from the outside in. Slowly reducing it because I need width in order to prepare the edges to send in thinning flakes. Okay? Slowly moving in because I need width to drive flakes. Because driving the width or driving flakes removes material off the edges. Yes, it does. And if you get it too narrow too soon, you won't have enough width to drive these flakes. And then you end up with a walnut-shaped piece. No, walnut. I keep saying walnut. I'm thinking almond, and I say walnut. Yeah. It's an awesome ability. I score very high on the autism tests because of stuff like that. Yeah. It's awesome. Anyways, people end up with little almond-shaped pieces because they remove too much width too soon. We all go through that, don't worry. And anyone who tells you you shouldn't be concerned too much with the width is lying to you. Just straight out lying. You know what I mean? I don't know why they would lie to you like that. But it's real. All right. I need to be a little more aggressive on the thinning. Okay, so I'm going to start being more aggressive on the thinning. Just prior warning. If you guys are sensitive, turn away. Yes. If you don't like to see harm being done to rocks, because I will be harming rocks in the process of this video, turn away. Change the channel. Do a little protection ceremony or something, because it's going to be nerve-wracking. Okay. I'm hitting it hard enough to break it in half, which is bad enough. But I could also overshoot this. It's a heat treat. If you didn't catch it earlier, this is a heat-treated alabate, so it's not that difficult to knap. Which is a good thing and a bad thing. I could mess it up because it's so easy to knap or easy to flake. Yes, yes. And yeah, I'm going to lose the corners because these things don't have corners. It just has a long stem and barbs. I'm going to try to keep width on there so I can have some nice barbs, some nice long barbs. But I'm going to lose a lot of this corner, or these corners on this. Dude, that looks kind of like a Noonan. Noonan.
Not a Langtry. What the heck's a Langtry?
It's a different part of the country, all right? Maybe they're related. Of course, archaeologists, they messed it up. You know, if it looks like that in other areas, if you find pieces that look like this in other areas of the country, right? They don't call them the same, you know, and they're from the same time period also. They don't call them the same thing. Just, it's not like Clovis, where if you find something that looks like a Clovis, no matter where it is in the United States, they call it a Clovis. Well, if you find something like this from the same time period that looks like this in different areas of the country, they don't call them all Langtrys. No, so the archaeologists messed that up. So they'll call different things in different areas, even if they're from the same time period. They may or may not be related. But they didn't make a choice when they started their archaeology thing. They kind of,
on some of them, we're going to call them one thing. On the others, even if they all look the same in the same time period, we're going to call them all different. Okay, so this is the Clovis stuff over here, and this is everything else.
And everyone went, cool, awesome. You just made that up, right?
Yeah, I just made it up, but you got to do it.
And they did it. So, you know, I'm telling you, I could make stuff up and people would repeat it. I've got documented evidence that it happens. Yeah.
But wait, dude, that is what Clovis is.
Yeah, that's what you say it is. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but the archaeologists and the lab coats.
No.
Yeah, but the experts and all that.
No.
But the anthropologists and the PhDs.
No. No. So are Clovises all related? Yeah. But so were all the points that look like that from the same time period, if that's the case. So it's either one or the other. Could people get the same idea in different cultures and have things look the same but not be the same type of point? Yes. If you consider Clovis as a hafting strategy, where it's only the base that's the same and the blades are different, then they're not all Clovis. They're different points. They just had the same hafting strategy with the flutes. Different blades were adapted to have that fluted base, but they're all different blades in different areas of the country. Not all Clovis blades, you know, the upper half of the Clovis points, they're not all looking the same everywhere. There's different flaking styles. They just all adopted the same kind of base, the same hafting strategy. Clovis is a hafting strategy. If you want to know my opinion, which you probably don't, but that's what I think.
Yeah, but you don't have a lab coat, so you don't deserve to have your thoughts even recognized.
Okay, that's true. I don't have my lab coat. I can go get one. I can make a video with a lab coat on. Yeah.
Yeah, but you don't have a PhD, so you could lump it.
Okay. Some people are going to get really ticked off. Yes, they do. I have a tendency to rub people the wrong way. And I would probably stop doing it if I did not think it was funny, but I think it's funny. Yeah. All right, so I'm thinning. I will shut up and then do some thinning. Yes. Oh, that was risky. Did I overshoot it? Did I? No? Good. Did I scoop it too much? It's very close to being scooped a little too much, but it's not too bad. It's not too bad. But I'm in the process of thinning it down. So we're gonna have little mishaps every now and then. Hopefully the mishaps will not be too bad. I'm gonna be hitting this very, very hard in some cases. You may be able to feel it through the screen. Yes. I've hit pieces so hard that the quarry that the rock came from actually had a seismic event. Yeah. You're just making stuff up again, dude. What's your problem? You seem to have all kinds of problems, man. Yeah, I know. That one guy that I was watching on YouTube that does the carving live streams, he's kind of weird too. Yeah. I said, this is my kind of channel. I think I'm gonna live here. No, I can't live somewhere else because I got to do my own videos. Dang it. Yeah. I got to do my own videos. I can't be living on other people's channels. No. Although sometimes I want to. Oh, yes. That'd be an easy life, you know? It would be so much easier. So what am I doing? I see some opportunity to thin the tip down, so I'm trying to keep it. I'm trying to keep the tip in line. It's starting to do weird things, right? The flakes are not always predictable, so I'm getting all these weird scoop outs and different things. I was going to show you something about something I saw on Lithic Casting Lab's website, where some of these really, really thin points are not straight. They're not straight. A lot on the artifacts, a lot of these really thin ones are not straight. They're slightly curved or they're slightly twisted. I was going to show you that on the Lithic Casting Lab because they have excellent side views. That's one good thing about lithiccastinglab.com or Lithic Casting Labs. I don't know. Lithic's Casting. I'll show you in a minute. They have good side views of the artifacts. One of the few places you can actually see side views. See, they don't have side views in here. I know this is a thin point by seeing the actual artifacts. Let me see it. I'm going to go to the Lithic's Casting Lab. If it'll let me. Let's see. Do I already have it? No, I don't have it in there. Okay, here we go. Let's look it up. It usually takes me a long time. Oh, there it is. Not too bad. Not too shabby. No? Oh, it's not a secure site. All right. So which one was I looking at? I was looking at. I was looking at some of these Aztec blades. Where was it? Where did you go? I think I'm getting close. No? Page 2. Where is it? Okay, maybe this one? Aztec biface, yes. Okay. Aztec biface. Let's look at that. I gotta do that one. Ritual knife. No, it's not it. Let's see. Salutrian. Hold on a second. I'm going to try to find that thing I saw earlier because it was interesting. Maybe not for you, but it's my video. No, I can't find it there either. This place has excellent posters as well. And they don't sponsor me or I don't get money from these guys or anything. So I am just promoting their stuff for no reason. Okay, this might be it. Go to Aztec Biface's article for more. There it is. This is going to be good. All right, so you can click to get a triple image. See, it says click picture for large triple image. Okay, I click the picture. Click. See that? This one is straight, but the edge isn't. See how the edge is not perfectly straight? It's pretty close, but there's another one. Let's go to page 2. Let's see which one was the one I was looking at. There's another triple image on this one. Yeah, there it is. See how this one kind of dips down this way? This side is actually not flat. This has a curve. See how it's scooped out too much on this side? And see how the edge is not perfectly straight? It's kind of wavy. It goes straight here, and then it goes down, and more down, and then back up. See the real artifacts? They're not perfect. Okay? That's a real artifact. And a lot of people don't realize that. They don't realize that sometimes they just go with the flow, and it is curved. See that? It is curved.
Yeah, I see it, dude. I see it, but I don't like what I'm hearing, so my eyes don't work.
Yeah, if you're like that, I can't do nothing for you. There will be people like that. They just saw it, but they don't like what they hear, so their eyes stop working. Why do I bring that up? Because I thought that was interesting. That's why we need to see side views. Talking about side views. And thinning. If you want to make stuff like they used to make them back in the day, you don't have to make them straight. No. Now, if you want to sell them, yes. But if you want to just make stuff that puts you in touch with your ancestors or whatever, or you want to know how they did it back in the day, and you want to make stuff like they made back in the day, you got to make them not straight in many cases. I know it's hard to hear.
It's not hard to hear. It's hard to hear you, dude. Bruh.
Yeah. I apologize. It's me giving the message is not a good thing. Yeah. So I've got to focus on this. I do have to stop goofing around just for a little bit to focus on thinning this. It may end up not being perfectly straight, but I try to make them as straight as possible. Yeah, I will try to make this as straight as possible. So you'll see that I'm going around the piece kind of in a random fashion because I'm trying to correct it at random. Did I take off an overshot? No. I got to watch the overshots too. Make sure that if I do get one, that I repair the symmetry right away. All right, so I can pressure the tip, but as I get down toward the body of the piece, I got to use percussion again for thinning. It just works a lot better because I have to use a lot of force, and it's much easier to use a lot of force with percussion. Okay. And it's going to look kind of wonky, but I'll repair that later. So I'm rolling the dice and taking some chances to get this thin. Not all elevates is easy to knap, and not all heat treats end up being nice to knap as far as the elevates goes. So don't rush out and spend a ton of money on heat-treated elevates. Unless you know the guy really well and he's a reputable rock seller. Okay? I've had some people watch my video and go out and buy a ton of stuff based on my video. And then later on they tell me, you know what, I bought a bunch of that stuff after watching that video because it looked so cool and I was not able to do anything with it. Do you know that, dude? I said, yeah. Unfortunately, that does happen. Just a live and learn type of thing. So I try to warn everybody on every video. You know, just be aware that sometimes just because you see it on video doesn't mean that it's going to be good. Just because I can thin it down, it could be luck. Just a lucky piece. There is a defect in there, though. Could you see where it was? But yeah, it's getting thin. I might not be able to take some of these lumps out. Like there's a lump right here. It's right there where that crystal pocket. There's a crystal pocket. See that? How it's translucent right there? It's a different consistency. So that's why it's lumpy. It doesn't flake the same way. But I'm gonna try to thin it anyways. No, not like that. Yeah, like that. I'm not going to look at the clock. I'm not going to look at the clock. If I start looking at the clock, I'll give myself anxiety. Let's turn the heat on. There's a draft in here, yes. Which is good. I need a draft in here because of the nasty dust. I'm going to tackle that spot that has that crystal pocket. But I got to prepare everything. It'll give me a chance to prepare this edge a little better too. This one doesn't have notches in it. This Langtry style point, which is a good thing. I got 15 minutes left, but I'm going to go over my time, yeah, until I finish this. It shouldn't take me too much longer. I'm using the pressure flaker to prepare the edge. I can use the percussion flaker also by just tapping, tap, tap, tap. But this helps me be a little more accurate. It's also a little bit safer. There's been times where I do 90% of the knapping with indirect percussion. It just depends, I guess, on what kind of mood I'm in. Sometimes it depends on my mood. If I don't think I can pressure flake well, because it's just so tedious, I'll just use the indirect percussion. But in this case, it is kind of tedious, but I need to make sure that I don't overdo it. I could easily overdo it with the percussion. Yeah, let's check to see what the size is. See if I'm within range. If I still I'm still pretty, yep, I can still make that one. Okay, so you can kind of see where I'm going with it. It has a little bit of a divot in the bottom, so that's good. I was thinking that they all had this flat base, but they don't. What I mean by good is if I make a mistake and put too much concavity in the bottom of it, it's still okay because this has got a concavity. Yeah. Otherwise, I'd lose too much length if it wasn't. Oh yeah, hold on. Put this back so you can see. Yeah, compared to the white background, you can see better. All right, so I'm going to be thinning again here. Does it help that this is flat? Kind of, sort of, but sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes when it's too flat, it grinds down too much in some areas and not enough in other areas. But it's all right. I don't need to worry about that too much. Okay. All right, I gotta. See, I was trying to get this out as well as working on this. But it's not that great. It's not working out that great. It's already really thin, so my options are very limited, which means I've got to work with what I've got, and that is a problem sometimes. When there's not enough meat in there to do what I want, to remove the flake that I need. It's still not too bad. But it's going to reach a point where it's way too thin and I won't be able to do what I want. So I got to call it good. But we're still okay right now. Yeah, it has concave or incurvate sides, which is good. Gives me a little more room to work with. If it's got incurvate sides, I can take more off and beef out that edge so I can run some flakes. It's going to be slightly wonky in this area. See how it dips down? Right there, I have to leave that. I'm just going to try to remove that lump right here right now with a couple of flakes. But this, like I said earlier, this particular place, it naps differently than the rest of this edge. We'll see if it scoops it enough. I actually am trying to scoop it. Yeah. I think it did it. Lost it. That's good enough. Yeah. Okay. All right, next, let's see. There's a mess right there. There's a mess right here. So I'm moving the edge that way. So you can kind of see where I'm going to be hitting, right? Wherever there's a lump, right there, I'll take a flake. Up here, I'll take a flake. I did grind the whole edge, but I've got to sharpen that anyway, which means I've got to grind it anyway. Even if I only hit certain areas, I still have to grind the whole thing because I've got to sharpen it eventually, and I need it to be dull before I sharpen it. In case you're wondering. Some of you don't wonder about stuff like that, but I just have to mention it for the new guys. Some of the new guys have been, not all, but some have been around on the forums, Flintknapping forums, where they'll tell you not to abrade where you don't need it. Abrade only where you're going to do something. So if I abrade the whole edge, it looks like I'm doing it wrong, as an example. So I'm telling you the reason why I'm abrading the whole edge. Is there a time where sometimes I only abrade certain areas? Yeah. Especially during the last stages. If there's just one little spot that needs to be addressed, I'll just focus on that one little spot. And it's usually at the tip. I'm kind of persnickety about the tips. So I'll stop and I'll make special effort to abrade or do some extra pressure flaking like I'm doing now. I like the tip to be aligned and well tapered. I think that's the farthest I'm going to go on that one. As far as the tip goes, yeah. Okay. I got to thin it down just a little bit more. Change my glasses to a higher magnification. Oh yeah, that's better. Plus I can move this closer now to the camera. See those little flakes? I usually don't do those thinning flakes toward the tip. I'm mostly downward pressure usually. But I did need to thin that a little bit more. Okay, so that's as far as I'm going to go with the thinning on the tip. Now I got to do the rest. On these Langtry points, I think the original nappers, they wanted to go as thin as they possibly could. For whatever reason, I don't know. I've seen the real artifacts. I've seen many Langtry point artifacts. They're not all super thin, but the ones that are, they are amazingly thin. Like they used all of their talent, all of their time, everything to the extreme to get them as thin as possible. For some reason, I don't know. and they look like they were done quickly because they didn't pick a lot on the edge like this. They're just, the flakes are more spread out than this in many cases. You can kind of see it in the picture. The flakes are kind of spread out. See how they're spread out near the tip here? Whereas mine are very close together by comparison. I don't know if you can see. It's kind of similar, but you can tell that one's got a few extra flakes in there, I would say. This is kind of picked a little bit, but I on mine there's a lot of picking going on. Okay. Anyways, I am going to pick it a lot because that's the only way I can get it thinned down a lot. Is to slowly pick at it and then take opportunities as they present themselves. What time is it? Almost 4. It shouldn't take me too much longer. Yeah, that's good. Come on. I'll thin what I can with the pressure flaker, and then I'm switching over to indirect percussion to create the stem. There's a little bit of too much removed there. Anyways, it's going well. I'm going to use indirect percussion partially to create some of the stem, but I'll use pressure flaking to finish up the stem. Right now I'm thinning it down a little bit in preparation for putting in the stem. Yeah, so I'm going to have a little bit of damage control to do, but it's okay. You'll see. I'm going to switch back and forth from pressure to percussion. Whenever I need to take a big flake, I'll use percussion. Yeah, see, I can't do that with pressure. Let me see. Where are the... Okay. I'm not looking to see what I'm doing because it's only short flakes. A lot of times I'll look at this. I'll look at the flake travel, but sometimes I don't need to do that. In case you're wondering, this one I do have to look because I'm going to be taking a longer flake. If it doesn't travel, I'm going to take one right next to it. So what's left? See, the symmetry is off. See, this side's down further than this side, so I got to bring this side up, and then make this straighter on this side. Or, you know, I'll match up the different sides. I'll make it symmetrical. Yeah. I'll be doing it at random. And I'll slowly close in on the final outline. Did they do this back in the day? They had to do something similar, or else they wouldn't have got it. There's no way to get it that thin. Their process had to be something similar to this, where they were able to take long thinning flakes I think that's good enough for the thinning, right? And if I need to do any more thinning later, I'll do it later. I'm going to be taking in these sides, make these sides more concave. I might be able to build up the edge enough to take some more thinning flakes. But it's thin enough for the stem now. So I'm just going to use pressure flaking to do the stem. Oops. This was good enough for just the basic thinning, the percussion work. Percussion work is good enough for the basics. Now to do the particulars, I'm going to have to use pressure. Yeah. There's an area that I don't like right there. I can run a flake later. Or now. Let's see. I just hope I didn't crack it, right? That's the danger at this stage, is cracking the edge. It looks like I might have cracked it a little bit. It's all right. It's just a little bit. Okay. All right, so it's a very narrow stem. Okay. I don't have to make it that narrow. So now it's just a matter of pressure flaking it. Mm-hmm. Okay, yeah, I'm not talking because I'm focusing on this. The more I focus, the faster I can go. To try to finish up, yeah, I don't want to spend all day. So whoever heat treated this did a good job, because overall it's been pretty good. It's been well behaved as far as the heat treatment. Sometimes it gets a little bit too brittle, but this one does not feel like it's too brittle. It feels good. I was getting nervous in the thinning, but it worked out. So okay, so it's just a matter of a lot of tedious pressure flaking. And since it's already pretty flat, I don't have to worry about getting step fractures at this stage. Just doing short flakes. If it was not smooth, if the surface was not very smooth, then I'd have to watch every flake, because every flake would be a potential step fracture just waiting to happen. Because the edge is not, the surface is not smooth. But these surfaces are smooth, so I'm good. Yeah. Yeah, the stem is going to be a little shorter than the one in the picture. Yeah. Well, maybe not. I can still make a long stem. It just the barbs are going to droop down. How's that? See, on the Langtrys, there's very little bit of a droop, just a tiny droop. So I won't go too far with the droop on the barbs. You'll see. You'll see what I mean. And no, I'm not grinding, as you notice, because I'm pushing on the previous flake scars. Can I do that for sharpening? Yeah, I can do that for sharpening if I bevel. All right, I'm putting a bevel on there, and then I'm just going off the previous flake scars when I push down. So it's not like I'm needing to grind it. See how I'm pushing off on these flat spots? Now on these Langtrys down here, they did not do it that way. Okay? These are just randomly flaked with a little bit of picking at the, especially like this one here. See how it's randomly flaked and with just barely a little bit of picking with spread out flakes, whereas I'm using a lot of close together flakes. You can especially see it on this side. I'm using a lot more flakes than they did. Anyways, yeah, everything's symmetrical still. Yeah. Okay, so that's good enough for the barbs on the underside. Now I'm going to take these sides in a little bit, make them incurvate or concave. So it's almost like I'm beveling right now. I'm setting up the edge to do a pass on the other side. Well, to flip it over. I'm going to grind it. See, I did a little bevel pass, almost. And I'm going to grind it and then run a pass of flakes on this side, and hopefully I'll be able to take care of those little step fractures with a big flake here as an example of some damage control. I don't have to do too much on the tip, so I'm just going to grind from like the lower 2/3. Grind down the lower 2/3. I don't have to do much on the upper 1/3. If anything, up here. So I'll look for opportunities like this to do damage control and take care of that first and then finish the sharpening. I got to be careful not to break it. When I use a lot of pressure, I can't be careless about it. There. That last flake took care of that. For the most part. So I am watching this side because there are places that look a little lumpy. I want to make sure I get the flakes to go where I want. And if the first attempt doesn't do what I want, I take another flake, you know, plan B. But that worked out pretty good. I'm going to be dulling with the pressure flaker itself. Yeah. To do the last pass. One more pass and it'll be sharp. I'm going to kind of dull it with the pressure flaker like this so I don't have to grind the whole thing. Just brush back a little bit and dull it with the pressure flaker. Then take those final sharpening flakes. Let's see. Yeah, I'm going to look. Yeah. Let's see. Yeah, good enough. I think I knocked a little bit off the tip that last time I dropped it. Just now. That's good enough. Yep. A little bit of a concavity in the base. It's actually very pointy on the corners here. Okay. I'm looking at the picture or the drawing. I don't know why they would make the bottom so delicate, but that's what they did. You know, the corners here are very pointy. It looks almost artistic the way they made these. Okay, there you go. See, the stem on this one is a little bit longer, but it's about the same size. Yeah. And see how pointy these corners on the stem are? See, even that has a little bit of a point there. That's unusual. I don't know. It looks like they're almost made for decoration, because that snaps off almost immediately when you haft it. Just trying it in the notch, just sticking it in the notch of the foreshaft, those little points will just snap off. Now these are at lattice dart points, these Langtrys, even though they're that small, that's an at lattice dart point. And most of these, it looks like they were hafted only with glue. So you pick a foreshaft that has the same width as the bottom of the stem. Well, it doesn't have to be the same, but it helps. Makes it stronger. And I think these were hafted mostly with glue, with just maybe a little wrap underneath on the foreshaft itself to prevent splitting. But in the photographs and stuff that I've seen, they're just hafted with a bunch of glue into a foreshaft like that. And of course that's stuck on the end of a main shaft. And that looks about the right depth as well. Okay, so they would wrap this bottom part with a little bit of sinew to prevent splitting. Then they would haft it with a lot of glue and then put glue over the whole thing. I don't have my notes with me, but I have an actual photograph of one of these hafted. Wait, it might be in here. Yeah, I think it is in the beginning of this book. Right? It better be. Where is it? Is it in the back? Hold on. I got plenty of time. I can go over my time here. I'm looking in the book. As you can see, I've looked in this book a bunch of times. Okay, let me put this down. Okay. I know it's got to be in here. Somewhere. I remember. Hopefully. But I got to go through each page one at a time or I'll miss it. There it is. See, Langtry point. See the foreshaft? Mine's a little bit fancier. Examples of hafted artifacts. Shumla. This is a Shumla, but look at the artifacts have a foreshaft that's similar in diameter. Actually thinner than mine. But see that glue? It's over the wrapping and everything. Okay, so I mean I could put a deeper notched thing on it. I could use a deeper notched foreshaft. Okay. That one's a very small foreshaft on this one. On the actual one. Okay, so that's it. I like it. It's got some translucency to it, but mainly in that crystal pocket spot. I'm going to check the chat here. So 2 points from Slabs. Yeah. In case you missed the first one, that's what the first one looks like. And there you go. It still has a few dull spots. Yeah, looks like it still has a few little dull spots. But I don't care. The real ones are actually this thin or even thinner. Yeah. Yep. Some of them are thinner than this. Yeah. And the Toyas, they vary. Some of them are very thin, some of them are thick. These are kind of random, the Toyas. All right, so I'm going to check the chat, but for now, yeah, we'll just gloat over these. Okay. And I lost my tape measure. I got to find it before the next video. And it's a big difference between the blade I made the other day, the last live stream, and these points. It's a whole different ball game. So if you start with something like this and you say, well, if it breaks and you don't have a success making a big blade, at least you can try to make one of these. A lot of times it doesn't work at all because they're totally different mindsets. Yeah, so if you want to make big blades, you stick with big stuff. You want to make small stuff, you stick with small stuff. That's my advice. Okay. I'm going to check the chat. Yes, yes. Where am I? Okay. Where are we here? Mac Bales. Bren is here. Everyone doing okay? I just got back from the dock. You missed it all. Jason says, why do you like the Texas and Ohio Knappings? Why? Because they are where my buddies are. That's the main reason. But the one in Ohio is like the biggest Knapping I've ever been to. So there's that also. I can find every napper on Facebook at the Ohio Knapping. Basically, all of them go to the one in Ohio, the Coshocton Knapping in Ohio. Everyone who is somebody is going to be there. In the napping world, anyway. Wrap it in sinew next. Yeah, I could do the wrapping it in sinew, but that's a different video. Let's see. Nephrite rocks for napping. Yeah, I'm not sure how they nap. I can't remember. Let's see. I prefer working heat treats myself, in case you're wondering. Keith says, Patrick, thanks for taking the challenge, and you did a really great job on both heads today. I appreciate the time you take in explaining the different names and how some points were the same. You're very welcome. Joe says, from what I can tell, there's a lot of waste material, so I assume you would start with a lot larger piece to work with. Yeah, when you're brand new, it's best to start with a larger piece than what you need, for sure. But as you gain more experience, you can conserve more material. It does take some experience to conserve the material. But if you use indirect percussion, that helps too. That helps to conserve material because it's more accurate. So you guys are already answering the questions, which is good. Joe says I have a lot of quartz around here. Quartz is not good to nap. I tried napping that on another live stream. Right? Remember? This stuff is not good to nap. And yes, I've tried napping it. And yes, I can get an arrowhead out of it, but it's mainly luck. If you have this kind of stuff, use it for your landscaping, not for napping. Or you can actually make decorations. You can make decorations or pendants and stuff from this stuff because it has nice translucency. Christmas ornaments even, I don't know. But not for arrowheads. I can break the edges off with my fingers. It's so crumbly. See that? You didn't see? I can break the sharp edges off with my fingers. And it's really crumbly. So it's not good for napping or for tools. I think I already tried. Anyways, don't nap this kind of stuff. I have some quartzite that I will nap eventually. I just gotta find that box too. Somebody gave me a bunch of quartzite little cobbles. Dude, what's that sticker thing you were hitting? A sticker thing? There's a copper rod? Yeah. 3/8 inch copper rod. And I also use a 5/16 inch copper rod. 12 inches long. If you look, I've got a tools video. It's a short video too. You can look up Jack Crafty, my current tools with a question mark. That's my latest tools video as a short 3-minute video. Enrique says, I've been trying to figure out how to get it down to that size, but always end up breaking it and just stop trying. Yeah. Just gotta keep doing the same thing over and over again. Eventually you will get different results. I'm checking the chat for questions. I'm way over my time. I should have stopped like 30 minutes ago. Yeah. Let's see. The Wednesday live streams are from 2 to 4 p.m. Eastern. But I can stay longer on Wednesdays. Let's see. Yep. I'm glad you guys are answering the questions. It saves me a lot of time. Let's see. Yeah, Marty, I don't usually use the big Ishi sticks. I just use these small pressure flaking tools. I don't ever use a large Ishi stick anymore. When I first started napping, like everybody else, I used a large Ishi stick, but I found them not very useful. I don't know, because yeah, I do like the indirect percussion more. But I'm thinking that I'm going to make a long ishi stick for my natural tool Fridays. Yeah, longer than the one I already have. And I'm going to use some elk antler and stuff for the tip. I'll try different bits for the long ishi stick. Let's see. I guess that's it. A lot of people ask me what I'm making. Okay, I think that's it. Joe says, have you ever seen the crystal dagger they found in Egypt? Yes, I have seen that. Yep, it's very interesting. And you can knap quartz crystal. I've got a video on knapping a small quartz crystal. Nothing like that big quartz crystal that the Egyptian daggers made from. But you can flint knap it. It naps kind of funny because the fracture planes are different than regular chert or flint. But you can knap it, yes. Daly says, is Georgetown flint easy to knap? Yes, if you have the high-grade Georgetown. If you do not have the high-grade Georgetown, it is not easy to knap at all. And you'll need to heat treat it. So yes and no. Is Georgetown easy to knap? Yes and no. It's best to go to a knap-in and buy Georgetown. Don't buy Georgetown sight unseen. Do not buy... My general advice is do not buy any rocks sight unseen unless you know the guy. And unless you know the guy will give you a refund. Otherwise, you buy your rocks at knap-ins. If you're allergic to people, then you'll have to buy some sight unseen until you find a reputable dealer. Yeah. It'll cost you some extra money, but I suppose it evens out because you'll have to spend gas going to knap-ins, so spend money on gas. So I guess that extra money, you can justify that loss when you buy stuff sight unseen because it's probably the same as what you'd spend on gas. All right. I think that's it. Yep. All righty. See you guys next time. Next live stream is Friday night, 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. Eastern time. Remember, it's Eastern, not Central. Most of you guys are on Central time, I think. You're welcome. All right, good to see everybody. We'll see you next time. Take it easy. Goodbye. Happy trails. We'll see you later. Bye-bye.